Progress.
To Mark Coconuts. You have gone to the big poetry reading in the sky, and I wanted to speak for many of us in San Diego in the poetry scene. It's too bad that the young poets that are coming into the
I
poetry
don't want to miss giving
community
you my respects.
with grace, anger, frustration, humor, wisdom, and jazz didn't get to hear your bass baritone voice, Mark Coconuts. Feel your respect, whether they were beginning or seasoned poets. It's too bad that they didn't see how to host a poetry reading with grace and aplomb. You made all of us feel like we were the poet laureates of Poetic Brew, the poetry open mic at Claire de Lune's on Tuesday night, when everyone was there in the cafe or on the sidewalk, outside the cafe, networking, social justicing, job hunting, or bitching about most everything from school to war and back again. Mark, when you called me one day and said that you, David Strumsky, and Liz Huerta were going to the Getty Museum in LA to see the European art from the 19th century, I went, and we had such an interesting day. A snack in Hollywood and a day at the Getty with the masters of time. Mark, when I went to North Beach in January of 2022 for my birthday to see City Lights, the Beat Museum, and the Warriors play, you spent the day with me and took me to most of all those places. I keep a copy of Lawrence Ferlinghetti's Poetry as Insurgent Art by my computer that I bought that day. You bought me lunch, introduced me to a beat poet's bar, where you introduced me to a famous beat poet who was married to a famous beat poet, and it was marvelously, humorously irreverent about most things. She was insurgents. Mark, I liked it when you would come to San Diego to visit your mom after you moved to the Bay Area. You call me to say hi, or we go break bread and talk about stuff. I like how you read at most of the open mics in the Bay Area and told me about them. I'll bet they loved your voice and your verse too. You were the best hosts. Your union brothers and sisters wrote warmly about you when you passed about being an honest, loyal leader union brother. I think most of the poets in our poetry community would echo these sentiments. So now we honor you, Mark Kokonos. We honor you at this moment in this space bar with a song by Richie Havens, a song you could have written and read in your bass baritone voice from your compassionate heart and your wordsmith mind. Mark Kokonos, I love you, brother. We love you as our brother of verse. This song is all about your poet's heart. We ask our brother Alfred to cue the song, please. It's called Follow.
There's no place like Chrome. Get Chrome for Windows.
Let your head down across. You want to play a poem. Rain fall and let the dewy clouds enfold you. And maybe you can sing to me the words I just told you. Because you're all the pain, you feel it. You guys need a pen? different songs. Some things they won't stay long. Oh, yeah, they doing wrong. There's no one going on. What I the sound that is and songs that I am singing may disturb or serve to quell all the sound you're hearing. I sing the right for the children down some breaks up in the sun. My song with you down, down, right. Until I'm done, see the I like you. Come now and perfume out and let me wait your rest. I am hoping I don't miss you. All the things Jason was and for the ride. We'll be back to stay tonight. A time to come here and bring the light. And firelight. While I love that's what I'm doing. Come on, so really now that the breeze explodes. When we meet, I will know all the things you see, what they see. This follow, follow, follow. There's a statement made about sits, but difficult island dance, sending smiles across the circle like Morse code to attract the attention of one day. But sits down the concrete, feet thicker than tar, and makes his way to the crowd to repositions silently within the heart. Slowly spread his arms as he aims out a single note, like a church bell echoing across the air. In its slow, clear breath, along the chorus spots, the rain, the flower, the later it's called face. The tip of his boot edges the cheek. The sun along the violets behind the border.
Yeah, Jim.
Change his tempo. He's looking forward like a wave crashed against the rocks.
I'm gonna
And he
send him a
spins and leaps into
Give
the
me
air.
his email. Write his email address down below.
Brother drinks the
You
dawn.
just call
Once,
him. Get his email
both
address.
friends have been also severe. You much smile as you fall.
I don't see anybody log.
We don't. You see.
Thank you for listening and honoring him that way. He's calling us now saying he's having trouble with Zoom. And so we're gonna be working on getting him into so you can hear. That's our teacher, not Mark. But we're kind of dealing with the Zoom again. So thank you for your patience. Welcome to Second Sunday Jihmye Poetry on the last Sunday of February, National Black History Month. So we want to welcome all of you. If you need to go to the restroom, it's right behind me on the left. Please avail yourself to the best deli in La Mesa. And can we give some love to Frank and Han, our owners? And here comes Han now. There she is. Poets have 2 poems or 5 minutes, and if you're a musician, it's 2 songs and 10 minutes. And we ask you to be aware of the people that are following you. One of the things that's important to me is to honor the month that we're in. It's called Poetry is Looking for Me. Especially when Langston knows rivers, ancient dusky rivers. When Langston looked upon the Nile, perhaps paddled past pyramids when they were young, when he planted rice near the banks of the Yalu, when he talked with the Buddha after the Buddha rose from the shade of the Bodhi tree, when Langston was a warrior in the Underground Railroad and railed against slavery far from the mouth of the Niger, when Langston championed the good trouble of patriot John Lewis as the Mississippi flowed past the Freedom Riders. Yes, poetry is also looking for us as we stand on the shoulders of Langston and Claude McKay and County Cullen and James Weldon Johnson and Georgia Douglas Johnson and Jean Toomer and Zora Neale Thurston, all Harlem Renaissance poets right here in Black History Month 2024. We stand on the shoulders of Malcolm X and Medgar and Fred Hampton and Billy and Ella and Sarah and Etta and Lena and Shirley Chisholm and Coretta Scott King. I shout to my gracious father as we stand on the bones of Middle Passage martyrs carpeting the floor of the sea. My gracious father, that day you embarrassed me in the streets of Pittsburgh when you screamed your racial epithets at my Muslim brothers and sisters. You were wrong, old man. You were wrong. Poetry looks for all of us. So I'm gonna ask my amazing electronics genius over here, Mr. Alfred M. Williams, to come up and do your poem. Could we give Alfred some love, please?
Yeah, baptized in blood. Let's see. Okay, this is called My Little Black Criminals. My words are like little black criminals that assault the white page. Some are innocent, some are angry, and some are filled with rage. Some are skinny, some are fat, some are tall, and some are thin. But always they seek to reveal the feelings from within. My little black criminals go out in the middle of the night to commit crimes. They come back early in the morning drunk, giggling with their faces full of soot and grime. My little black criminals care nothing about story, conventions, or plot, for they have grubby little hands and noses full of snot. My little black criminals are not above playing the fool. They laugh and spit and cry, and sometimes they even drool. My little black criminals, they flip off the page this way and that. Sometimes they stick the landing like a careful little cat. And other times they fall flat on their backs. They make a splat, knocking over my teacup and ruining my hat. They know capoeira and kung fu, the Harlem Shake, the old soft shoe. They know funk and jazz, rock country, and the blues. They know that letters make words and words make sound. These little black criminals ain't afraid to get down. They spell magical words like love, respect, and admiration. They spell complex words like stagnation, indignation, and emancipation. Whatever words they spell, they do it with heartfelt elation and exhilaration. My little black criminals step off the curb when the light is red. My little black, they're like little zombies that get back up even when they're dead. My little black criminals will sneak up behind you and hit you in the head. Sometimes they keep on talking, even after everything's been said. I love my little black criminals, even though they tend not to always mind me. They shake off my intentions, and off the page they run free. They are brave, my little black criminals, with a reckless little show, because they tread to faraway places where I fear to go. They bewilder my expectations, but expand things I know. They are my little black criminals, but I know not where they go. They are my little black criminals, and I reap whatever they sow.
Can we give Alfred some more love, please?
Hi, this is Alfred.
All right.
Okay, so.
We have a young man that wants to come up now. And
Okay,
I have
so,
him as my
I think what happened
non-local
was,
field worker, but actually he's my next door neighbor. This is Michael Turner
Jim
Ortega.
changed the link after we sent the meeting. So what I'm gonna have to do is resend you guys a new link, okay? I apologize. It's not, it's just.
I want to memorialize Mark Coconuts with a little story first, and then a poem.
Right.
I was looking through my
apologize.
bookcase, and I saw this book.
It's not something I did. It's something that was a mistake, is what it
Where
is.
did I get this book from? I opened it up.
So what I
and there
can
was a
do
poem
is send you the link,
by Curran Jeffrey,
and then you can forward that on to all your friends.
And
okay?
wow, what a great way to.
I mean, that's the best thing I can do right now. So Jim.
So that's my story, and it has everything to do with this.
No,
book,
because
Joe.
it got erased. He somehow Jim erased it. And so
memorial.
we went with the one that
Let
was already
us say
set
farewell
up.
to
And
flesh.
I managed it for him,
But I cannot
he did
say
this
farewell to memory.
after everything was set.
Those moments
I didn't have any
are
control over it.
the
So
very living bricks
I apologize
of
for that.
every growing chamber
It's a
of my
it's a
heart.
mistake. A mistake was
Let
made.
us say farewell to
And so
days
the only thing I
gone
can do now
by,
is send you the
laughter,
currently,
sorrows,
and then you guys
joys,
can all log
and
into that.
tragedies.
Okay.
Those days have joined the calendar
So
of
hang on a
eternity,
second.
ever written
Let me
in the
get your
stone
email
of time.
address.
Let us honor the silence of death, the eternal echo of the joy of birth, that in that silence, the music of the spheres may sound in unbroken chambers of the heart. Let us say farewell to flesh,
Okay, sure.
that in the darkness
I'll send the link
of
to
eyes
to
forever
this phone.
closed,
Okay.
to our sun's
Okay.
warmth
All right.
and
Give me a
light,
few minutes.
the greater light of soul.
Okay.
The warmth may warm the ashes and breathe
So
power
they're not
into
logging in.
memories.
And
Let us greet
remember,
the
you
glory
sent out
of
one link and then we
mysteries
ended up,
beyond
you lost
the
that link.
sight of
Or the
mortal
link I have
eyes,
isn't working.
and honor the joy
So
of birth
what I told him I'd
and
do
the
is
silence
send him the
of
link
death. Turn
to the
shepherd,
new
everyone.
Zoom session. He's upset.
If this is your first time here, we've been doing this since about 2010, 2011. And we started here and then we moved somewhere else and then we're back here again. And this man has been with us almost all that time. Please give some love for a man who has the reading voice. This is Chris Ernest Nelson. Thank you, Jim. So good to see you all. Happy second Sunday.
So
This poem is dedicated to all those who have loved and lost. I am Chris Ernest Nelson, and this is Legacy. In the time of struggle to become intimate with the sturdy body of love, in the sweetness of the summer sun, as our hearts were opened like ripe fruit when it gives up its seed, I still smell the wild sage and delight in the rolling yellow poppies that dissolve into the scent of your warm flesh and the glory of your resonant dark
his
eyes.
phone number so I can send him.
You were a force of nature, like the dry wind and the playful waves we knew so well. Your spirit was so deep that a dive into your depths took my breath away and left me so full of your generous waters, I will never thirst again.
Hi, we're sending you the link now. Just
of all the days we spent together in the reaching sun, bare-chested and open, can it be possible that just this handful of imperfect memories take your place? So I caress them like flesh, polish them like poetry, and prop them up again and again as they teeter and fade. I still dream. Those memories that know you well become so familiar, they lose the power of the celestial emotions that made them. How can stale memories possess you more than I? When I wake in the early hours after I see you in yearning dreams, for I know too well you must be gone again, I stifle my jealousy. I love you more than possessing you requires.
I love your freedom as I always have. Your consoling voice calls me as you make your way back to the inaccessible void. Do not look for me in memories that stray from the truth of our experience. Look for me in yourself. See how I have changed you. See how we have become the two of us, one. This is how you will find me. This is where we live together forever. Thank you. A sharp knife. All feelings have become ferocious in me and draw a sharp knife across my heart. I have been tamed by the authority of my enthusiasm that submits only to rapture. In the sight of beauty, the apprehension of compassion, or the witness of tenderness, I am carried to a paradise of introspection, to the celestial altitude of human potential. I feel the crisp, chill air of the mountaintop, the stunning force of the ocean's wave, the strain of worn muscles nearing exhaustion. My heart is an instrument of deep discovery. You cannot know how tears cloud my eyes as I look, a color, a melody lift me skyward. If only you could see the way I turn my head to hide my emotions as they break the surface. I have a fortune greater than money or land to bequeath, and no heirs in flesh to receive it. I am full to overflowing with fondness and the perfection of love's promise and reward. From my earliest days, I learned little of love from those who were obliged to teach it. I learned it from others who came to me of their own accord in trust and affection. Though unsure, I accepted the gifts they gave. And in the magical milieu of meaning, we forged abiding bands that grew in strength in spite of heartache and loss, and shone like hot metal. All feelings have become ferocious in me and draw a sharp knife across my heart. My dear friends, you have made me familiar with pain and rich in the measure of being. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chris. I'm told by this poet she's been here 4 times. She's not in 9th grade. This is Olivia Mercedes.
Apparently, I look like I'm in high school. So since we didn't gather during the Super Bowl, I thought it might be appropriate to share a poem I wrote inspired by the Super Bowl. My name is Olivia, and this is called Dehumanization for Profitization. Race norming is the practice of adjusting the score or value of a person's abilities based on their race or ethnicity. This was implemented by the federal government in 1981 and subsequently outlawed by the Civil Rights Act in 1991. This did not, however, stop the federal government or stop the NFL from implementing their own race norming practice in 2017, when they were newly required to start paying concussion-related damages to players suffering severe brain injuries. They argued that players who were Black deserved less compensation than those who were white because their being Black somehow meant they had a lower baseline of cognitive function and therefore incurred less injury than white players. And they implemented this for 4 years. Doctors who submitted reports of their Black patients suffering would be rejected if they did not explicitly use the practice of race norming. Meanwhile, medical reports of those who were white were readily accepted and paid 2 to 3 times what a black player with the same brain injury might eventually be. And much like the federal government only ended their racist practice as a result of organized resistance, it took $1 billion court settlement to finally persuade the NFL to end theirs in 2021. Of course, they didn't widely publicize this the way they eagerly demonized Colin Kaepernick in 2016 for the very peaceful resistance of taking a knee. Because the NFL knows, as most billionaires do, that humanization hurts profitization. Unless, of course, that humanizing is being specifically aimed at the billionaire's own white race, such as allowing the Zionists of Israel to purchase a $7 million commercial to advertise their genocide as a heartfelt mission to bring home the hostages, dedicating their propaganda presentation to the dad. But as 123 million Americans watched a $7 million ad paid for with a fraction of the $3.3 billion their taxes gifted to Israel, that same oppressor simultaneously began bombing the 1.7 million civilians in Rafah. And amongst those civilians were not just the equally as human Palestinians, but also the very hostages that the oppressor promised to rescue in their propaganda spectacular, but in actuality murdered 2 of those hostages during the Super Bowl massacre. The very lives they pretended to proudly humanize are the same ones they carelessly took in their pursuits of committing a genocide. But because we live in a country that cares more about football than the global humanity, that values people, values profits over people, that chooses the convenience of weaponized lies over the discomfort of a traumatic truth, we continue to watch the billionaires in their selfish pursuits as they dehumanize anyone who supports the notion that children are children, that dads are dads, that brain injuries are brain injuries, whether it's cutting across or pulling a profit, whether it's the NFL or the federal government. We live in a country that is dedicated not to equality, but to the prosperity of only the colonizing white and wealthy. And if history has taught us anything, it should be that the only time these systems are forced to change is not when found guilty, complicit, or morally corrupt, but rather when there is enough organized resistance to threaten their dynasty's bankrupt. They may not recognize all people as human, but they recognize all money as power. And if we can organize the spectrums of our privilege, we have the power to take back that power. The power to proclaim that people are people and not targets for profit, for wars, for genocide. We must thrive in organized resistance to financially disrupt the billionaires' crimes, their lies, their control of the narratives, before we are simply another chapter in their slaughtering of our priceless humanity. Thank you.
Oh, let's give her some more love. My mentor of 30 years of his classes is Steve Cowett. He would want you to have this book that Joe and I wrote with these poems. Can we give her some love for that, please? And over on the table is a book, a poem called Intifada. And we're his widow, Mary Cowett, asked us if we wanted to. She sent that to me, those books to me. Oh, thank you. And I love you too. And so if you would like to purchase that book, how much does it cost, Joe? I forgot. Intifada? It's just donation, that we are going to, take whatever proceeds we make from selling Intifada, so they're on the author's table, to a, group of Palestinian students who are here in San Diego who can't get back with their parents. And so that money goes right to them. And thank you for inspiring us. Appreciate it. Jack Stewart Smith, are you here? Give him some love.
He's not there, is he? No. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna make it. So she's gonna have to do something like that. He's upset too. So he's gonna just call him. So that- It's something we did earlier. Could invite him back next week. Because it's, you know, he was upset. And I'm like, look, it's nothing that you did. It's something we did on our end. And so what happened was, we sent out that link, it was broken. So the account, we should have sent it out again. I tested it at work. But I think it's. So, I should have caught that.
Okay, I'm gonna go outside and talk to him. Joe's next, and you be host if I can make it back
All right,
inside.
okay.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you very much. My name is Jack Stewart Smith. Hello, family.
Hey.
I love you all.
Oh, you too.
God, how do people remember these lines that go on and on and on, and they're so perfectly spoken? It's a, how do they do that?
Magic.
Okay. Name of the song is Another Bullet. Another bullet. Gun. Another bullet. Battle won. Another war where lives are lost. Another chance to count the cost. Another bullet. We load our gun. We tell our foes they had better run. To stay and fight. That within our way. The price of blood is the debt we pay. It's all the same, just like yesterday. It is the nature of the human race. We deem the other worthy of grace. Annihilated without a trace. Another bullet
Another gun. Another bullet. A battle won. Another war. Where lives are lost. Another chance to count the cost. May I dare ask you, won't you please ask me? Are we not all one family? What shall we do now?
I got
This curse. Before we all suffer worse. Have many missiles, just like you do. We may all launch them, and we'll all be through. No more need for bullets, no more need for wolves, no more need for humans, no, not anymore. So I will reach out my hand. Won't you please join me? We'll make a stand. Not sure if it will make a change at all. To keep those stars shining before they all fall. Another bullet, another gun, another bullet, another one, another war. Lives are lost, another chance to count the cost, 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 to count the cost. Jack Stewart Smith. Yeah. It's more lovely. We just got back from North Carolina. This is Joe Malash. Yeah.
Hey, I love your poem. You tell them that we lost our feature. It's really sad, right?
You know, I'm always embarrassed when I have to follow Jack up here. He's just too good. So, yeah, I just got back from North Carolina, but I have nothing to say about that. uh, um, you know, most of the people here know me, but I see a few who might not know. But I was married to a Mexican lady, and I had it made, I gotta tell you. And every Saturday, I come home from work, and there on the table would be a frosted mug of beer, hot cup of coffee, fresh tortillas, papas con huevos, or enchiladas, fresh salsa. The whole house just smelled so good. And so one time I come home and I'm sitting down and I'm just looking at that beer and just drooling. And she sits down and she says, "You don't love me anymore." And I said, "Well, that's not quite true," and she goes, "You don't even know me. You can't tell me what my favorite color is." And I had no clue. And it wasn't my fault, really. Because when we got married, her favorite color was yellow, a nice light pastel yellow. Then it became a green, the color of the grass at her father's grave. And now she's sitting across from me and saying, "You can't have that beer until you tell me what my favorite color is." So I said to her, "You're right. I don't know your favorite color. But my favorite color is brown, the shade of your skin." Yeah, I got to eat breakfast. Yeah, I got to eat breakfast. The muse, my muse saves my life a lot of times. Other times, my muses plays tricks on me. Like he gave me the title for this poem. It's called "Making Peace on a Camping Trip During a Santa Ana." Now that could have been about Patsy. I mean, every time I look at that, I say, "Is this poem about Patsy?" But it's not. Making peace on a camping trip during a Santa Ana. As clear as a Santa Ana sunrise, a voice from a desert canyon calls out, "Poets, give us the imagination of peace. Oust the intense, familiar imagination of anti-war poems. Shut out the anger of indignation from those supporting Netanyahu or Hamas. Reject the 'I told you so' anger of the pro-Palestinian or pro-Netanyahu demonstrators. Disregard their anger bordering on racism or anti-Semitism. In other words, refuse to use the rhetoric of animosity needed for war." Out of the heat rising like a mad rattler came the command, "Poets, call out peace like you're writing a poem." Everywhere I saw a fiery orange in a blue sky. I smelled the heat in chamise and juniper, and my epiphany: peace is a poem. It doesn't arrive ahead of itself. It can't be imagined before its creation. It exists only in the words of its making, grammar of justice, syntax of mutual aid. To have peace flow from the desert to the sea, we need to feel skin to skin, like a poet's finger to pen. Across the flat land, the wind streams poets, in that a language providing for thoughtfulness required to inspire harmony. Imagine a Jewish mother holding hands with a Palestinian mother at the grave of her child. Imagine a Palestinian mother embracing a Jewish mother at the grave of her child. Then, out of the wailing winds of motherhood, we dimly sense the rhythm of peace through feelings, because touch is all we have. When we begin to compose, the alphabet spins like a dust devil, and letters swirl like grains of sand. From the desert wind, a peace poem might rise if we rewrite the sentence that our lives are making, revoke its reaffirmation of revenge and retribution, question our motive, allow pauses, and create an angerless cadence that provides for the empathy required for compassion. Write about the mutual sharing of pain and let peace present itself as an energy field, more intense than the in-your-face anger promoting war. Then peace might pulse, stanza by stanza, into the sunrise, rather than thump grave by grave into the sunset. Thank you.
I met that man when he walked into Steve Callett's workshop. It was always the last Sunday of the month over at San Diego Writers Inc. And I heard his name, and I'd only read his poem, Why is a Scar on a Man? And I couldn't believe it was him. I got his phone number, and I've been around him ever since. And I write better because of this man.
We all do for a while.
And I don't owe him any money, do I?
I do.
Can we give Joe some more love, please? I'm very disappointed right now. I'm disappointed for all of you. I'm disappointed for our future. We are having trouble with the link. It's not working. And I have called him and apologized to him. And what we worked out was you go fix the link, whatever's the matter with the link, and I'll come another time. But he's not going to be here today. He's in East LA. And so I apologize to all of you. When I've got the smartest man in California on electronics that is my engineer, it's not the feature's fault, it's our fault. And so we hope we can get him back another time. So he won't be with us today. Fasten your seatbelts, please. Sylvia Telefaro.
Hey, y'all. You know what? We have like 3 generations in the house. Okay? Because I'm a grandmother and I'm a great grandmother. So I'm a grandmother. I have my granddaughter here and my great granddaughter. And because of that, I was going to do 1 poem, but now I got to do 2 because they actually showed up. You know how you tell your grandkids, come watch Grammy on open mic. Yeah, Grammy. Yeah, right. I have 7 granddaughters. She showed up. All right. So I'm lucky that 1 showed up. So because of that, I have to do the poem that I wrote for her.
That's right.
And this poem actually is in my book. I'm going to shamelessly do a commercial without selling the product because this book is not available yet. I have not released it. Innovations, Illusions, Devices, and Desires. But it was published in June. Life got in my way. Just wait for it. Anyway, this poem is, let's see, I thought I had more tips. Yeah, I have to find it in my book. On the page. When I read this to my other granddaughters, because this poem is entitled An Angel in You, and then it says for a special granddaughter, they be like, Grammy, so who's your special granddaughter? Granddaughters, okay. And I leave it at this. But this is the one I actually wrote it for. You want to tell? God, and it's entitled An Angel in You. So, Mom, this one is for you. God must have known that I needed an angel in my life because he gave me you. From the first time you opened your eyes and graced me with your radiant smile, I knew you were not just another infant, you were a special child. And as the years went by and I watched you grow and shared your triumphs, small accomplishment, while tending to your childhood illness, teaching you about the joy of reading, and all the time just loving you. So we share joy and pain, you and I. And I wish that I could erase the pain and envelop you with so much joy that pain can never come in again. But life has its ups and downs, and I pray as you grow that you will learn to take the good with the bad and realize that sometimes trouble comes just to teach us lessons, not to make us sad. And I see you jumping over hurdles that life may bring your way. And I realize that like a butterfly, one day you're going to fly away. But I know there will be someone. Just know that someone out there loving you, believing in you, protecting you, encouraging you, and rallying you on. Let's just continue to love each other. Granddaughter, your grandmother. Now I'm taking off my grandma hat and I'm jumping on top of the sofa. How about that? Now, there's a lot of people out there that do not like me and they do not know me. And there's some people out there that know me and don't like me. We love you. We love you. And then there's the people that don't know me and don't like me and don't know whatever. For those people, I just want to say, I am who I am. When I be still, I am. I'm a ageless elm tree growing invisible branches, tendrils of strength from overcoming numerous obstacles that society had crafted for me. I'm a fierce lioness. I be protecting my loved one from unseen dangers and chilled from reigns of impurities that lurk in our educational and political environment. I'm an instructor of innocence, because I be guarding them against the harsh reality perpetrated by our media. I be teaching, I be weaving imagination with fantasy. I be replacing tears with laughter and immersing humans lurking deep within fairy tales that I have created for them. I'm a dancer, because I be like jumping over life hurdles and sliding across clouds and landing on the moon, only to begin my journey again. I'm getting strength. And I'm Harriet Tubman escapes, and I'm Wesley Human's poems And I'm Sojourner Truth's face, because I am a connoisseur of a Waka Pot ginger and sweet sugar cane and green bananas. And I'm a speak your mind kind of woman. I'm a believer in the truth. I'm a snapbacker. How much would I take somebody did that to you? I am karma, but I'm a healer. Because I be sharing the pain and the burdens of mankind, and I be carrying the sins in my breast, and as they say, I breathe in. And I exhale imperfections, managing them with love and tolerance and humility, acceptance and kindness. You know what? I'm a musician. Because I be playing life to my own tune. And I be pulling unseen ideas from the universe, playing them to my own tune. And I'm a seducer of virgin vows, because I be trading out synonyms with antonyms, and I'm a playgirl with verbs, and I'm a orgasm. I be having orgasms from paraphrasing, with verbs. I'm a lover of unfamiliar words, looking seductively between the pages of books that I have yet to discover and learn. I'll be weaving thoughts into words, creating stories from ashes of my ancestors, and breathing life into novels that I have birthed. I am who I am. Who am I? I'm an artist. Yeah. Thank you.
We are recording this, and Alfred will have it on the internet in the next few days. And if you are here for the first time, Sylvia and my partner, Jimmy Collins,
Great man.
they started the African American Writers and Artists, and they have taken a lot of artists from that culture and helped them to come to fruition. Jimmy was a Black Panther back in Indianapolis back in the day, and he would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to a kitchen and cook food for children that were going to go to school hungry. And when the Black Panthers were in the height of their popularity in 7 to 9 cities, they fed 15,000 children a day, something the government should have been doing. And then when he was finished with that, he would go and do clothing drives for people in the ghetto. And then in the evening, he would go around for the elders who couldn't get out to get their medication, and we get medication for them. That was Jimmy Collins. There used to be a painting right over here. It's gone now, but this is one of his prints. And I have a poem about him when I went down to Spanish Village, and I wrote while he was painting and waiting on customers. And so you can Google Jimmy Collins on the internet, Jihmye is how he spelled Jimmy. And he has a little bit of a bio that about himself, about born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Army veteran, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope you will check Jimmy Collins out, because he's the reason that we do this. Yeah. This is Jimmy Collins right here, all that stuff.
Great man.
And as a Vietnam veteran, I'm really proud to introduce another Navy veteran. This is David Legenhorst.
Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, the seatbelt light has been turned off. You are free to move about the county. This poem was written by my friend Carol Boyce, who is a poet in the North County. We teamed up on a book a few years ago, The End of an Error. Poets in agreement on the removal of Donald J. Trump from the White House. Anyway, she wrote this in, well, I don't know what year, it doesn't say. Yeah, 22, in 2022. And it's a Black poet. It's the Black Music Month poem. Not to be reused, but it's okay to be shared. Black folks put the soul in the blues, the zzz in jazz, the hip in hop, the sway in reggae, the meaning in rap, the rhythm in R&B, the heart in classical, the depth in country, the hope in gospel, the exceptional in standards, and y'all can keep the polka. After yesterday, I just had to scribble something out. And I call this really on the ballot in 24. He owns the voters in the core. And evangelicals to boot, who see a savior. Now that's a boot. The oath of office in a cell. This world is going straight to hell. Perhaps I may have lived too long, or maybe just need to buy a bond. Don't think that I can face this shit without a great big healthy kid. America, you once were great. Now your demise. And this one I've got to read one more time. And I call it ignorance. And you know what they say about ignorance? Ignorance is bliss. Apparently, we have millions of blissful people in this country. They call themselves Republicans. These folks only see what they want to see and hear only what they want to hear. Oblivious to rational logic, unable to connect the dots. A paradigm paralysis. Happily headed down the road to fascism. Waving the American flag. Claiming patriotism. Paying fealty to the Grand Carnival barker. This story will have an ending. Perhaps the end of democracy. Perhaps the end of reason. Perhaps.
Well, if you are like most of us in here who don't like the dubious Caesar, Joe and Alfred and I will be planning an event at Malcolm X Library in April. We're going to do a combination of poetry education. For instance, right now, there's an election on March 5th, and you all have a mail-in ballot. And so you need to remember when you mail in your ballot, you don't have to put a stamp on it, but you need to sign it and date it, or they will not count your vote. And if you are someone who wants to go down and vote, you can go to sdvote.com. And if you're using your mail-in ballot, you can sign up for them tracking your ballot and when they count your ballot. So you can make sure that your vote counts. And you can also make sure that you get to the right polling place on that. And so I'll get off my soapbox now, but these elections are really important. Jimmy and I only had one disagreement and we never talked about it because I let him do that and he let me do what I do. I voted, he said voting doesn't count, but I never saw all my Black Panther brethren shot down by the police like he did. So he had a lot of disillusionment, but you really need your vote if you will vote. Jan Gist made her living teaching voice. Wait till you hear her voice. This is Jan Gist.
You every time.
Ways to love. So many ways to love. To fall into the vat of pulsing love. To drop the critiques and take the plunge. To convert into the blinding religion, worshiping that face, those eyes, this one. I did it once. Fell full fool, or more like it, dove off the cliff. Into his high tides that pulled me recklessly out into his oceanic swells. And I loyally, deeply swam in his waters, gave up keeping my head up, and dove down into his swaying, surging depths. And I swam fiercely, always reaching for the life jacket he held out to me in promise, just out of my reach, until after a while, my lungs bursting for oxygen, I surfaced, felt the sun and air again, the horizon showing me my bearings, and I swam back to shore, where I have been resting ever since, letting my own pulse pound in my own waters, loving not just one, but everything within my grasp and without. Body and soul. Body and soul. If my soul lives inside my body, is it floating all between the fleshly bits, inside the open spaces in between my atoms' particles, sliding, dancing all around inside? And is my soul a vibrational, empathic voyager who knows my body's passageways and brings a whispering knowledge of the great beyond, encouraging my body's mind toward realigning with the vast immensity of destiny? If my body lives inside my soul, as a floating, growing embryo in the balloon cocoon of my surrounding soul, is my body soaking in the nutrients of all eternity, organically growing, aging, and changing while always absorbing into flesh the all there is, in reconnecting interchanges between the fleshly now and the galactic forever? If my body is my soul in fleshly clothes, and if my soul is my body in electricity sparklingly extending inward, outward, all everywhere, then who I am and who I've always been and who I am becoming is an open antenna, listening responder, creator colleague of mysteries, incarnation, and beyond. Complete my 5 minutes with thy time. I was fine. This is from the rains we had recently. Skies shift. Sunlight, like hope, comes and goes, sometimes spreading warmth, sometimes offering glistening cold. The skies keep shifting between grays and light and rains. In between rains, water drops hold their round diamonds on the leaves of bending branches. Oh, look, layers of clouds float to open a space for blue sky to peer through. And even sunlight is allowed to highlight the clouds' whites between the grays. These clouds move in silent, slow shapeshifts, as if showing the minds of gods thinking out loud about every possibility. But now comes another hard rain. Each drop is a fast, heavy fist of water that bursts as it meets the fence, the rocks, the soaking ground. The sky selects a full sheet of gray to stretch across the horizon, covering the whole dome that once was sky, that now is a slate blanket enclosing everything in downpour. And suddenly, burning bright sunshine blinks on hot and yellow white, and every growing thing expands in radiance, inhaled from stem to root in a glory that is glee. And just as everything exhales all the wet, kissing air back outward, the world shifts again as the minds of all the gods cavort.
Yeah.
We never know if this poet's going to sing to us, bring us down memory lane. We're not sure, but we're always glad he's here. This is Alistair MacLeod.
I had not wanted to give any preamble to my small presentation. I shouldn't be self-deprecating. My presentation were mine small. But I couldn't bring myself to just plunge straight in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my little pre-speech. I'll step away from the microphone, come back up as if it was all fresh. I'll pretend there was no pre. A couple of things about being here, which I probably said before, but that just bear saying again. Number one, I often feel alone for various reasons. When I come here, I know. Second, we write poetry not to be heard, but to change ourselves. Third, I was very surprised what I decided I wanted to present today. Turns out it's not that revolutionary, but I thought it was, going to be completely unacceptable. Why am I doing this? You don't get to choose the poem chooses you.
Yeah.
So now step away from the microphone. Don't wreck the place. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I'm the only one that fits.
Sleep no more. What death does murder sleep? I can keep silent no longer. I found myself thinking yesterday about the enormity of our failure to stand up to Putin. How will history judge those who stood in the way of our support for Ukraine? Will those who refuse to recognize Trump's infatuation with autocracy and violence hang their heads in shame and sorrow one day? I sympathize with Alfred's technical points. Thank you. Using the answers. I'll repeat. This is
Overhead projector. Overhead projector's gone.
Going back to my lecture. Will those who refuse to recognize Trump's infatuation with autocracy and violence one day hang their heads in shame and bitter sorrow? It's heartbreaking, and the damage is self-inflicted. I'm afraid to think what I have done. To know my deed, but best not to know myself. What brought us to this pass? Is there more that those of us who knew could have done? Is there more we can do now? People think that life will go on, but will it? Wars rage, genocides creep, holocausts blaze, bombs away. Do the Jewish people, victims of crimes that beggar the imagination, now maintain a state they themselves founded on crime? Oh, would that it were not so. Words I dared not speak, but now I must. I cannot bear to think what I may witness in the years that remain to me. I will learn how to be brave. We will all learn how to live by raw courage, or we will not be able to call what we do
living.
Yes.
Everybody doing okay? You getting your money's worth? You didn't say nothing.
Can I get a harumph out of that, man?
You didn't say nothing. Okay, well, we're moving right along. Leah, is this your fourth time here? It's her fourth time here. This is Leah. Give her some love, please.
Hello. Wonderful day. How are you? You are the sweet. I've been like, oh my gosh, I've been admiring you all day. You are the sweetest. So, how are y'all doing? I love how like you unintentional training in different microphones when you go to different open mics. Okay, we're just gonna
tilt the mic up.
yeah, we're gonna there we go. I'm not that tall. I don't know, I was actually chatting with somebody who's wonderful today. I was chatting with Jan about how I do improvisational poetry, which sometimes let's see, sometimes fun, but sometimes not. Today I think I'm going to actually read something that's not exactly prepared, but it's something it's a genre of poetry that I kind of designed for y'all, kind of just going out into the world and trying to see the fun of things, I guess, maybe is a way to put it. I think I love that Chris Ernest Nelson is nodding along. That's a compliment. This is, none of these have poems because it's one of those funny things where it's an artistic practice that I love artistic practice that just emerges from your life, where it's not too deliberate, where it's just a product of what's available to you and what happens in your life. Once upon a time, I needed to write something down. I didn't have any paper, and my laptop was unavailable to me, and I was about to lose the phone, and I went, nope, we're gonna text that fucker to me, and I didn't. And now I've sent like 8,000 text messages to myself. But that's a different story. It's a fun way to write. So this happened at the mall the other day. I went to the Fashion Valley Mall, which I love to be around people when I write. Anyway, here's a thing. Hello, begged for ice cream, immediately dropped on the mall bricks. Hello, skateboard tricks are cool. Just do them elsewhere, please. Welcome back, Apple Store. Please, Mom. What do you mean? Okay, where am I getting iPhone money? Welcome back. Put that back. Do you think that we can afford that? Because we can. It's just completely overpriced at the mall. We'll buy it from the official Amazon store and return it because purchasing from Amazon is unethical. Then purchase it from the nearest locally owned store with an employee profit sharing program. Hello, another year of being alive. If I believe my bones, I'm like 45, not almost 29. This is one of the reasons I lie all the time. New Politics says, what are things? What are you doing to me? What do you want from me? You're just fucking killing me. Sing, said purple nurple bullies in elementary school. God, being a girl then would have been a superpower. Have a purple nurple shield. Walker, if you can hear me, I still feel your titty twisters. I hope you and your family are doing well. Childhood says we didn't hear that well enough the first time. Let's go back. I need to see that another time. Do it again. Now again. Now again. Caravan Palace sings every night symphony. Oh, rocket for me. Bringing is a great word, right? Like, what are you bringing to the party? What am I bringing to the party? What are we bringing? We're bringing that friend you haven't seen in ages to the party. We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing Saturdays and vacations back. We're bringing sunlight and long days back. God is bringing people back to life. Morgan and Sarah Beret sing, sometimes I feel like a falling feather. Light is possibly my favorite word in the English language. I can't think of a single bad thing it means. Like, spark that shit. Like, it's not too heavy. You can lift it all on your own. Like, spring is back, and so is the sun, and so are beach days, and the energy for their dog acquaintance making. Light like a torch that holds all your skin in it. Light like fragrance knows tickle. I remember you. Light like what we see between each life. Light like not too much, just enough frosting, just enough Parmesan cheese, like a hiking breakfast, like the pack I should have packed when we backpacked. Instead, I made it heavy. I made every conversation with you light like the sun. I said I should have made every conversation with you light like the soul when it leaves the body, light like wind in leaf breeze, high wind leaf. It's nice to see you again. Thanks.
Yeah.
I really should time myself, but I don't because I'm a lunatic. Do I have enough time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
In the meantime, if you want to buy Leah's book.
Oh yes, thank you. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. I have a book, and then there's another one coming on Instagram, and then there's another one that's going to be coming later. Let me know if you want to buy the book. I'll be there. I have a few copies with me. It doesn't contain any snakes, although it'll convince you otherwise. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to. I'll just read something silly.
Leah, can I put those on the author's table, please?
Sure. Yes, please. Thank you. I think I'll just read something short and silly, I guess. I guess this happened to Barrio Logan the other day. I love walking poems. I love just walking and listening to music and kind of just like recording thoughts. And it's kind of a fun challenge to you write lots of different length stuff, sometimes just a line, sometimes a stanza, sometimes a whole poem. And of course they're all quote unquote like poems. That's the fun of it. Here's something pretty short. Thank you guys very much for listening. Give me not yet golden hour, too high to climb, chain link fence slap through life. Why so many chain link fences in Barrio Logan? Why so much time spent on life? Why did it last so long? Why so few street shit logs in the barrio compared to downtown San Diego? Why so many songs that hold at least a dozen poems unlistened to in my Spotify saved list for months? Thanks. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for listening. I love you.
Thank you.
We love you more. Our next poet, when she decides to teach a class, I will be the first one in line. Please welcome the very talented Janice Alper.
Marjorie, this is for us. When your child dies, the future is shattered. A hole is in your heart, and there's a perpetual itch in the middle of your back. My mentor, Joe, said I should be. So, come on a journey with me. This is from Marvin Alper, May 14th, 1938 to April 30th, 2015. Trans-Siberian Railroad. 1. I clung to my husband's sleeve as we pushed and jostled, lugged our luggage into our compartment on the Trans-Siberian Railroad, peered out the dirty windows as the train thrummed past the Great Wall. Daylight melted into night. At the border to Mongolia, hydraulic lifts hoisted up our train, and we floated in air as the wheels were changed. We dozed as the rocking cars hummed along the tracks to the land of yurts and Genghis Khan, where children ride horses as if they're appendages to their bodies. We drank yak tea, ate toast with yak butter, wrinkled our noses at the bitter taste. Still 2 continents away from home, the scenery outside the train window went from arid desert to lush taiga forests, and we clattered into Irkutsk, once called the Paris of the East, with its wide boulevards and parks. Baroque buildings replaced the square Soviet-style apartments. Uri Gagarin, Russia's first astronaut, was born here, and children roller skate past the bust of him on the promenade. A quick breakfast of hard rolls and weak coffee were herded onto a bus to Lake Baikal. the deepest freshwater lake in the world, where a pink protuberance juts out from the center. Is it a dragon or a mark or funnel to the netherworld? Or is it Angara, banished here, waiting for her lost love? At our guest house, we share a room with ladybugs that make me smile as they tickle my hand and I count the spots on their backs, like I did when I was a child. We stop at an old wooden church with the smell of incense and dry grass. Light a candle on this, the anniversary of my mother's death. We say a Jewish prayer. The Eternal One doesn't care where we are, just that we remember. 2. On the train platform, robust women in babushkas and checkered aprons rush up with boiled chicken, borscht, potatoes, black bread that we buy to eat in our compartment while the train clatters into a Catherine. I get off and place my right foot in Asia, my left in Europe. The Romanovs were murdered here. We visit the sanctuary built in their memory, say more prayers by postcards. Overnight, we bump along the tracks where everyone looks like my Ashkenazic Jewish relatives. At St. Basil's, a tiny church with well-worn spiral stairs and small chapels, we pause to listen to angels sing a cappella. Next morning, trudge up and down Moscow subways to see regional murals of miners, farmers, printers. Lenin points to the future under crystal chandeliers. Nothing like the New York City subways of my youth. A boat ride on the Volga. At the dock, we buy Matryoshka dolls, painted like women who cook borscht and potatoes. And we're back to our hotel, once the home of a Russian nobleman. At night, we're blinded by the lights in Red Square, stroll through Gum, whose shops are familiar. Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Zara. Where do the local folks shop? We sample different kinds of vodka. Skol. 3. Back on the Trans-Siberian for our last stop, St. Petersburg, a cozy cabin where breakfast is served with daylight. Lug our luggage onto a bus on our way to our hotel, a stop at the Admiralty for photos and morning coffee. In Peterhof, like Michael, we take off our shoes and shuffle around the palace. Outside the gardens, we shriek and laugh as we're drenched from the secret fountains. At the Hermitage, we stare open-mouthed at the opaque marble of Aphrodite, bow down to the almighty Jupiter and his throne, view Monet's Women in the Garden, Pissarro's Boulevard Montmartre in Paris, 1897. Sigh at Picasso's Two Sisters from his new period, gawk at the Fabergé eggs, regret that we only had 2 days, not 10 years to spend here. On our last night, we sail on the Neva, huddled in blankets, watch the drawbridges open as large vessels pass underneath. Cheer as we pass the Hermitage, as if it's our private palace. Thank you for traveling with me.
I think she's ready for the mic.
She's continuing to work with her, you know.
I don't know where she gets that from.
We come from a generation of storytellers. It's in her DNA.
Kyler, is this your first time here? Kylie? No, second time here, all right. Well, there's no campfire for him because he sounds really good around the campfire, but this is Kyler Moore. Let's give him a warm, friendly welcome.
Safe place, Simon.
I feel it, for real.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. First off, thank you for all the words that have come forth today. They're all very beautiful. I learn something each time I go to a open mic. I learn not just something, I learn many things. It's very beautiful. There's a lot of love in this room. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. So thank you. Thank you for doing this and being here. I have a small little one that I got to share the other night, and I've learned it's pretty tough to get the words out sometimes. So I'm gonna try and just say it clearly and solid. Leave the door open till the yelling match. Blessed house with the worst bouts. A family that serves, a house of stricken bird. Big fights, big sights. Children explore on a peaceful second floor. So leave the door open till the yelling match. Leave the door open till the yelling match. Blessed be the doors, blocking the absurd. Our hearts hear only the words, the question what love is all for. If the door is just open till real emotions are poured, what was the reason for bringing us forth? Of course, it's to close the door. Thank you. Yeah.
I met a young man at a talking circle, and we talked after the talking circle was over. And I was asking him about some of the things that he was interested in about his life. And when I left, I thought, we're really in good shape. We're really in good shape. We're in really good shape because of young men like Kyler. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Please come back. You're my hero, man. Well, if you like to listen to radio shows, this lady has her own radio show, and she doesn't do psychedelics, but it's called Electric. Susan Taylor.
Thank you. He's right, I don't do psychedelics, but I do Sauvignon Blanc. Frank serves up a good one. So my show is called The Electric Picnic, and it's on KMFJ 89.1 FM. FJ represents social justice. And it's really simple if you'd like to be on my show. Jim has been on the show. Chris Lanoy, Chris or Miss Nelson, Joe, David was here, Marjorie, Deborah Ramos, that's several people. Leah's been on my show, and so see me. It's really easy. We send you a Zoom link, and your part is 54 minutes of intense interviewing with me and reading your own work, and then my last 5 minutes I read my own work for somebody else. So I came here with 2 other poems to read, but gosh, I've been inspired. It's Alfred, thank you for your travel. Alfred, Alfred, no T. Alfred, thank you. So I was blessed to go with my husband of 20 years on a 20th wedding anniversary cruise from Budapest to Passau, Germany last year on the Blue Danube. And written a little bit about that, but I just had to write this today, which is not what I came here intending to write. Just before Vienna, the locks on the Danube tied my heart in knots. Imperceptible rise and fall of the blue Danube, really green, and cruise ships taking turns going through the locks and stops like preschoolers learning to share. We were last, but had time enough to waltz into the city in search of sake torte in a pink cafe. Great. Yeah. Recommend about 350. And then my other poem is was inspired today by a story I was hearing just before I walked in here. I didn't really have time to work on it very much, but I'll give it a try anyway. I was gonna call it NPR in my face again because National Public Radio was such an inspiration to me in so many ways. Before I walked in, I heard about the Black Naps project in Oakland. The story kept me in my car until I saw it was time to come into the space bar. The Black Naps project honors Black women, always hardworking, barely sleeping, perpetually caring for other Black women. They suffer from certain diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and interrupted dreams. I'm trying to still pick up my shoulders from the fatigue of that story, the vision of those women. I'm not a Black woman, but I know that fatigue. Remember it from my days as a single mom and full-time teacher with 2 children. I can feel that fatigue, but my naps, although I yearned from them back in the 1990s, were white naps, white nap projects that I could wake up from and look around and have a lot of white privilege. Black naps for women, for everybody, should make us remember how much we do for other people. Remember that.
Yeah, thank you.
From my book, I usually like to write short poems or short poems like haikus strung together. As Bear Wolf, a poet who was on my show, told me he likes to string micro poems, mini poems together to make a whole. So this was just one I came upon today, thinking about spring and cutting back dead weeds. Delusional girl, it's the time of year to bring back haikus. And I'll just leave you with one more thing. I went to church today and there's a Christian hymn called Spirit of God. And the line at the end has been in my head since I left church at 11:45 this morning. It says, it goes on, Spirit of God, Spirit of good, Spirit of happiness, Spirit of Jesus. And the last line is Spirit of restlessness, move me from plastic.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Spirit of baptism.
Plastic.
Thank you.
He's a member of the Revolutionary Poets Brigade. He was the beat poet of San Diego. Then he was the beat poet of California. Then he was the national beat poet. He asked me just to go on last. So I said, no, I want to bring you up next. This is Chris Tenor.
This is the poem that I included Mark Coconuts in. I was blessed by the beats in the holy temple of city lights, slammed by the word speakers in Seattle. The star bar sparkled in my eyes. To lose in a tent of hissing spoken word, I was saved in San Diego by the poet's tree. Sangria Lizzie dazzles me with hot Spanish licks on my cool blue skin. She left my heart beating like flamenco dancer's shoes. Oracle Mark waits at the intersection of Park and Washington. The angst of Market Street still in his southern comfort lips, hovering over me, smelling of a bad woman in a deep blues dress. Are you a poet, man? He kept saying. Are you a poet? Man, I feel deliverance moving in, spouting hairs from the chin. My hands stroke bongos. My hip geek got the beat. down the sidewalks past Kerouac's Alley. He was out with Sally drinking again, thinking about going to Mexico. Alan was howling in the fog blanketed North Beach. Bukowski slumming in a hotel while Soul saying that poetry just saved his ass. Ferlinghetti lives in city lights, spends nights painting pictures by the window. Heat, make you hit the street now is out there. Way out there, man, silver plane, give me wings. A bag full of word things spilling from a shuttle that drove me home. Dangerous Dan, the word man. He met me at the gate, said I'd be late for meeting readers. Exceedingly tired to pull my felt hat down. The poet man was back in town. Mark Kokonos was very instrumental in my career in poetry. He promoted me through many different places in my life. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Came to the poetry scene in the early '90s at a place called Java Joe's, and then it was Claire de Lune's, and in each place, when he would get up to the microphone, people would be shouting out his verse with him. Let's give him some more love, please. Cora, is this your first time with us? Fourth time. And you have some books for sale over there? Okay, so please, before you go, please check out the authors table. We support our authors here. Let's give Cora some love.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I want to preface my poem today, just to say that there is a flood response team volunteer work at the start of March 1st through 3rd, down on 42nd Street. It starts at 9 a.m., goes to 2 p.m. So if you have any way that you want to help out, you can come talk to me after that. It's just a bunch of volunteers that are coming together to help the community, those who are affected by the recent floods. And I had this poem in mind, just because I was, two things. I was talking to Leah about drug addiction the other day, but on the 20th was my was my 2-year anniversary of sobriety. So. So this poem was kind of beating on in my head the last couple of days, just because it kind of talks on them. It's called Droplets. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My body screams, get high, find that rush, buy expensive kush, eat sugar until it all crashes into something sober. Sober up, avoid the high, discipline the mind because to touch is too much. Avoid love, avoid good times. They are just privileged moments stolen from the lives of those who are impoverished. I am poor, but I think I need to donate everything. What good does it do building savings if the future is under duress by the rich in the present? My body screams, push yourself up off the floor. My back hurts, lying here for hours, thinking of ways and all the suffering of myself and the people all around me. Got to find a solution to end the hungry bellies. My own belly is empty. Can't believe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich wasn't enough to hold me over for eternity. I spent too much. Look at me, fucking posh with green earrings. But I can't take care of myself when I'm alone. I'm alone, lonely, lost in a sea of impermanent needs. Time to wander. There is a man on the corner shaking his fists at his God, curses my white skin, and that's all fine. That man is just me in another life. I curse the sky. I wipe diamonds from my eyes. I decline his curse. I decline the love I need to give to him. Don't touch, don't fight it, don't hug the man on the corner. He's fighting to stay alive, stay alive. Stay alive. Be kind. Be mysterious. Be silent. Keep your mind heavy on the solution. Jaws clench. I walk past bars of drunken selves, chugging beer, sipping suds, romanticizing their stupor. For courage to believe in courage, to speak their minds, to open the doors of their hearts, to connect with themselves, their other selves, at the other end of the other bar. And the bartender wonders too, when is it my turn to sink into a stupor, to ignore my own loneliness? Connect, unclench the jaws, smile more, despite the disappointment in the heart. The emptiness in the back pocket, a poor man's wallet, tips can only go so far, so I walk on, walk on, walk on. Keep looking for solutions to end the suffering, the melancholy, the pain, the sour taste of people with bitter tastes. How dare they walk that way? How dare I? Why do I care? Why do I decline? Power hungry, lonely. It's not greed, it's clinging. Got to fill the emptiness inside me. I'm whole, I'm gone, I'm full, I'm hungry. I recharge with the sun, energy. Beats down, beats down, beats down, heavy, hot, mercury, seeping into bones, liquid luck to push on, connect, but don't touch, don't fall in love. It's yourself behind that heart. And their suffering. Still hungry, still cursing the sky, pouring bitter sours into my mind to get high, crash down, feel it out, kill the self, get high, crash down, feel it out, kill the self, get high, get high, get high, then plummet into a sound bath of silence. Keep walking, eventually find someone you're willing to see, to be real, cut the throat open, reveal, speak, a string of thoughts, then the hour is up. Go home, go to sleep. Defeat demonic dreams of endless walking, walking, walking endlessly into dreaming. Wake up, rub the eyes, slap the face, void of love. Get pretty, glamour up to embrace the day with a new look, a mask above me, my shame, a reflection of inner pain. Try to get away, turn into the alleyways, the endless corridor of drama. No, turn away. Find a swing to fly on. Get high. Surprise the body with joy. Mood swings. Come down. Get high. Come down. Get high. Wrap around. Jump. Touch the clouds. Then back to the ground. Light as a feather when the sun depletes behind dark clouds. Clouds that look like rice pudding, muddy coffee, and burnt stones. Walk on. Walk on. Walk on, keep looking for a solution to distract from the open door. Another week till therapy, mood swings in between, demonic dreams, man shouting on the street corner, white devil, look what you reap, white devil with perfect teeth, but we are both hungry. I smile, he curses my false joy, he knows me, I know him. Once again, no more light in the sky. Walk on, get high, pass by the bar where people kill themselves, trying to open up for love. What else? Shards of their skin on the floor slipping down to the storm drain, their masks melting away. They'll come back, surely, but the rain comes, droplets fall. No shelter now. I have 3 more players, okay? Walk on, walk slow, walk slow. Walk slow, embrace the shards of clouds, droplets caress the skin, sliding down sunken cheeks, still hungry, but I am free to touch, free to love, free to be too much. Raindrops falling, raindrops falling, raindrops falling, bringing clarity. No more sun beating down, darkness hits me, all of me. The man on the street corner nods, I nod, closes our eyes, thanks his God for understanding, embrace the good times, he says. Ah, a free shower falling from the sky. Embrace the touch, water, love, mood swings. Get high on feeling. Don't speak. Let it be. Only the music of drain pipes dripping. Only the rainbows of oil slipping down the roadway. Recycling. Walk on. Get lost. Walk on. Open up the chest and peer in. One note left. It says, it's okay to cry. Nothing inside is dry. My body aches, belly aches. No solution for the pain these days, but there's raindrops falling down on my crown. Not so lonely now. Look at all these other me's. Everything is wet. Everything is getting rained on. Everyone is getting rained on, crashing down, sinking to the ground. A day from now, the sun will beat down, beat down, beat down. But tomorrow, we will get drunk, get high, survive, curse the sky. We won't touch. We won't fall in love. We don't speak. We keep tight. We keep shut. Zip throat closed till another week before therapy, before speaking of solutions to end the suffering of myself and the people around me. And we walk on and on and on and on until the clouds recycle our steps. Thank you so much for your patience.
It could be online for your volunteers. You just keep doing the microphone because it'll be on the internet.
Speak it out on the microphone.
Yeah, just do your email address. Do you mind?
It's a long email.
This is for your volunteer. If you want to contact her about
right.
volunteering,
Oh, that's
she's gonna give you her email address.
All the information is on Instagram. You guys can follow me at Sunbeam Machine. There's 2 M's. Sunbeam Machine. And that's also at gmail.com if you prefer emails, old fashioned. But so March 1st through 3rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 42nd and Oceanside Avenue. Ocean View, that's it. Thank you.
Sunbeam Machine website or
Oh, that's Instagram or Gmail?
Oh, it's Gmail.
Yeah.
That's Cora. Can we give her some more love?
We have a visual artist and a poet, and I did a workshop with her for children down at the San Ysidro Library. And she's just amazing with kids. She's got also amazing with her pen. This is Marjorie.
Well, this will be the second time that I'm reading this one, and I think I might have a title for it. Either sweatshop or shoe fly, but shoe. Or I might combine it. Let's see. Golden rule tarnished. Shoes not fly. Sneakers conned. Leather heels. Timu want to be. Got no soul. Mothers refuse to shred these. Spray their own shoes gold. The mothers create the Philadelphia tradition for years. Started in 1901 and it's still going strong. It may take a whole year to produce to make their costumes.
You need to paint that, Marjorie.
Ice flow. Tears cascade. Ice over. Over I go, slide for life. Grab for straws. Land in grayscales. Laminated shale. Razor cuts my feet. Look up, wonder why. Head down, can't give in. Look over, grab a pick. Lace up shoes with teeth, word by word. I bite my way back. Ice melts on my tongue. Thank you.
So we will be on the internet, and as if you're on the internet watching this event, we're at the Space Bar every second Sunday of the month, except this month of February. Well, we were pushed back because of the Super Bowl. I want to thank my wonderful engineer, Alfred Williams. I'd like to thank all the poets that came. And our feature today couldn't make it because we on this end screwed up. But we're going to talk with him about fixing that link, and we'll be having him feature another time. Jocelyn Edmonds, can we give Jocelyn some love, please? For being patient. And so we hope you understand that we have this tradition here when it's all over, that if you want to walk up to a poet and ask them their influences or why they write like they do, we want you to do that. We want you to visit the authors table. There's a whole bunch of stuff for sale over there. We want to support our artists. That was really important to Jimmy, that we would do that. And I do free online poetry workshops for veterans. It's called How We Say It, and I wrote this poem in one of those workshops. Be safe out there, and please come back. Wounds are scars to other veterans like me. What I've survived are now scars, sensitive to the touch, but no longer sting or bite. You see, when I wrote about that front bunker watch in Saigon, June of '69, that redheaded PO knew he handed me a rifle I didn't know how to fire. I didn't know when I took that piece, I went from being a boy to a man. I wondered about other veterans who were like me, 21 years old, in a war zone, boots on the ground, legs shaking. I wonder if other vets felt like I did when he taught me to curse at human beings in Vietnamese, if they loitered in front of the billet. And after two reviling shouts, if they still remained in front of you, shoot them. I wonder how many veterans felt a storm in their stomachs when they were told to carry out an order that repulsed them, like a storm of vomit that grew into a mushroom cloud tsunami that they never felt before. Did any other veteran say to themselves, "This is not what I signed up for. This is not me"? That day in Vietnam, an old starving grandpa drove his rickety, rusty bicycle and stopped right in front of me. He had 12 baskets piled on top of one another, tied to the back of his bike. I obeyed the cursing directive, and he didn't leave. I pointed the rifle at him and screamed the curses. He retreated, wide-eyed, pedaling furiously away to live. And in that moment, I realized I had saved a grandpa while refusing that command. Sometimes being a man of peace is simply keeping your finger off the trigger. Be safe. We'll see you next time. Thank you for coming.